Well, hello and welcome back to my channel. Well, I wondered how everyone felt after the Friendly Geordies video yesterday, whether there was any fallout. Now, I'm very interested to note that mainstream media has not picked this up. And I wonder why hasn't mainstream media picked it up? What are they afraid of? So I've seen lots of comments in on Twitter, so I thought what we'd do is we'd have a look at some of the reactions on Twitter, because Twitter is very well. The people on Twitter tell you exactly what they think, but it's yes, definitely been an interesting 24 hours. Plus, I don't know anybody else in Australia, but when I woke up this morning and saw I usually get the alert. I usually get alerts on my phone, and I had an alert this morning about Shane Warne passing away. I actually thought it was a joke. I was really shocked, and I had to go and investigate, and I discovered that sadly it was correct, that he had passed away, and I'm like everybody, still in a bit of shock. I mean, he was 52 years old and had a heart attack. In Thailand, and I've just read that the Department of DFAT is now preparing to have Affliate over to Thailand to bring his body back. So, I want to give my sympathy to the Warne family, to the Marsh family, because Rod Marsh also passed away as well. We lost two legends in 2 days, and then Dean Woods on the third, a cyclist, an amazing cyclist that also passed away. So we've lost all these sporting legends in the last few days, and then we've got Dutton, and we've got this political saga going on. So very, very interesting. But there was also something on Twitter. We know that we have this whole thing about Katie Joy quotes and stuff like that. Well, Llama Girl has pointed out that there's another cool Katie Joy quote, and it's got to be up there with Russia isn't China, and you're worth more than your uterus, and the girl in the coffee cup. I mean, who can forget the girl in the coffee cup? Seriously, that has to be the greatest bit of chat ever. Hence why my thumbnail's the girl in the coffee cup, and I've still got to try and find that again. But anyway, we're going to have a look at Twitter as well, so that we can just see what the fallout is over Dutton. But let me find this quote. I mean, we need to start with, I've just talked about something really sad. I want to just lighten up the mood a little bit. Where is it? So how is everybody today? I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're doing good. All right. It's Saturday afternoon here. It's 3:30. I'm feeling pretty tired, actually. I think it's been a a tough 24 hours, 48 hours. So with everything going on, and yeah. So let me find. Oh, here we go. Found it. Okay, in this one, we're just going to do this Katie Joy quote very quickly. So this is apparently Apparently, the newest quote is that every human is a person. Did you know that? Every human is a person. I did not know that.
So again, I have to go. I want to thank you guys for being here. Consent, constant support and love. You're a journalist and you are educated on how to cover this ethically. That's a good start. I'm doing my best.
She's not a journalist.
Always remember these people are people. Every human is a person and every person has a story. So remember that when you're thinking about how angry you are. The real monsters are not the dancers. They're not. Every one of them are being preyed upon. And yes, it's similar to Allison Mack. Like
every human is a person. So there you go. But not every person is a human. As I said, it's a classic Katie Joy quote. I have to say it's got to be up there. For those of you that have been around for a while, maybe you can put in your favorite Katie Joy quote. Hello, Bella. Put in your favorite Joy quote. Some of the ones off the top of my head is, you're worth more than your uterus. China, Russia isn't China. That was a classic one. Anyway. Oh, boy. Oh. But that's about as much of the Katie Joy stuff as I will talk about at the moment. So, yeah. So let's have a look at the Twitter. Mainstream media has not said boo about this, which really, really, really disturbs me. I really don't like it. So just remember the rules. My rules are very easy. Okay, and if you do something excessively, you will get timed out. But look, everybody's welcome on my channel, and everybody's welcome. You're allowed to have a different opinion. All I ask is for respect. RESPECT. Okay, so let's have a look. So I've just done search for the hash for Dutton in Twitter. Dutton, knowing his main leadership rival, Frydenberg's electorate is 12% Chinese, accuses Labor of being too cozy with the Chinese. The attack wasn't about Albo or Labor, it was to weaken Frydenberg's electoral chances. Meanwhile, Frydenberg returns suit. You can't be PM if you've never been treasurer. He jibes Albo, except it's about his rival, Peter Dutton, who has also never held a financial or treasury position. Dutton wants to kill Frydenberg off at the election, Frydenberg to kill Dutton in the party room. So you've got this internal polling and battling as well. And then it's interesting that everybody is saying that no one is really surprised by these revelations. So Dutton exposed by friendly Geordies. How will Dutton respond? Hang on. Whoops. Is Dutton still fronting up to Insider on Sunday? And will Spears ask him about the allegations? I think no and no. Just in case anyone missed this brilliant friendly Geordies piece. David Spears, looking forward to asking Peter Dutton about the connections raised by friendly Geordies today. If you're any kind of journalist, you will. You're not, are you? The friendly Geordies piece, yes. So we looked at Mark Lawyer's one. Just for context, Dutton sets up a GoFundMe to raise $25,000 for food relief rather than seeking funds from the government. Stuart Roberts charged the government over $37,000 for internet fees, which was used to run a Pentecostal TV channel. What is wrong with these people? Again, may I reiterate that since Dutton has proven himself to be a fan of sweeping threats of defamation, his response to this will be fascinating. When Australian media is afraid to report the failings of the government at the risk of being overrun by the AFP or ASIO, what sort of democracy is this? I suggest Peter Dutton's sort of democracy. Peter Dutton wants the government to fund court costs for politicians suing for defamation, but wants the Australian people to to fund flood disaster. The MSN can rubbish mainstream media is MSN. MSM can rubbish friendly Geordies all they like. He investigates and works while many of them just bow and scrape stenography from the PMO. Latest from Jordan is a great insight into Dutton and the company he keeps. PMO is Prime Minister's office. Hello, Francis. It's going down. Yeah, it's a bit overcast. It's been raining here. We've still got floods in Brisbane and parts of New South Wales. We've lost 3 sporting legends in a very short amount of time. Shane Warne is the latest. That I think is the one that's shocked most people because he was only 52. So yeah. So why is it the mainstream media gets heads up reports on friendly Geordies OTT arrest for Barilaro's defo case, but when they do kick butt investigative journaling videos exposing Morrison government corruption, not one of the MSN has the guts to report it. This is incredible. No clue how FJ obtained those screenshots. The entire Peter Dutton in the car factory video thing has always been bizarre. All I can say is watch all of this and mainstream media pick this up and run with it. There is a stench around Dutton and the LNP is strong. In case you missed it, Friendly Geordies does Dutton. Peter Dutton to Brisbane during devastated floods. Go fund yourself. I hope that if Dutton sues Friendly Geordies that Kerry Stokes bankrolls it. Dutton exposed by Friendly Geordies. How will Dutton respond? I can see him now squirming in his office with steam coming out of his ears. The test will be whether David Spears has the guts to raise the matter with Spud on Insiders on Sunday. My bet is that he won't. Peter Dutton, please do the honourable thing and provide a simple response to questions without going down the seemingly obligatory defamation route, which as a taxpayer I will vehemently refuse to support. Awesome investigation. The pieces of this puzzle of graft and corruption fit together to form the Liberal Party. I move that the member no longer be heard. I suspect the papers are scared of a Dutton defamation suit, but that doesn't make it right though. Blown away, and I mean blown away by George Shanks of Friendly Geordies' expose on Peter Dutton. What a brave and fearless journalist Jordan is. He's up there with Julian Assange, and I'm afraid that he can expect the same level of persecution. Come on, Australia, we have to protect him. As I said, Twitter has been very, 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 vocal about this. Now, I actually sent the video to several people, and I've shared the video on my various social media. I know that somebody else told me that they had their whole office watch it. This video is blowing up. And I'm surprised that nobody of the mainstream media has picked it up, let alone questioned it. Or I am surprised that there's been no statement about it. Or are they all cowering in the corner? It's had 250,000 views in 24 hours. That is massive. That is bigger than any of the Bruz stuff. My other thought on the video is the way there was certain wording that would definitely that would give me the impression that he probably had lawyers check it over to make sure that it was that he wasn't going to get well, that if they tried to sue that it was airtight. So let's just have a look. Let's have a look at his video here again. So it's had 250,000 views in 24 hours. I'm in America, have no skin in this game, but I am utterly enthralled by your reporting. Anyway, this unassuming YouTube channel produces some of the greatest pieces I've seen anywhere. I remember that ad and couldn't believe how stupid it was. The background info brings it all together. Brave journalism. You're a solid gift gold to political corruption, accountability, journalism, bro. Someone says the first Patreon that they're going to donate to. I'm not a fan of your comedy, but you and your team's investigative skills second to none. Keep up the good work. So even people who aren't fans of Friendly Geordies are saying that this is an investigative masterpiece. One of the finest pieces of investigative journalists I've ever seen. You put the MSN to shame. You provide the most thorough investigative reporting in Australia at this stage. Thank you, Jordan. I officially trust you over any political think tank, media outlet, talking head. You stand next to Tingle, in my opinion. So you are brave, mate. I'm glad you're here. You're filling a niche that no other Australian journalist is currently filling, at least not with the level of audience that you reach. Dutton is the scariest puppet ever created. We need someone like you in America, says somebody else. I'll be expecting to see this story splashed over the media outlets, print and digital tomorrow, and the Royal Commission into the LNP, AFP, UAP, and the DDT. I would also expect there to be arrests, sackings, inquiries, blame shifting, sidestepping, ducking and weaving, sweeping under the carpet, you know, the usual stuff. I don't think a lot of that stuff is going to happen. So political spinner on Twitter. Friendly Geordie's revelations. Wow, why hasn't Peter Dutton told him I'll see you in court yet? Says cops have failed to charge him except exposing their LNP corruption party bias. Barilaro would have done a Ben Roberts-Smith if he kept up the lawsuits. This is brilliant with Elliott and Fuller trying to justify the false arrests. So that's that one. He may have a lot more to hide, and the court case has a way of going its own way uncontrollably. Remember the bottom of the harbour tax revelations that started off as a Liberal attack against the ALP and ended up revealing all their criminal behaviour. Just heard that the powers that be are removing it from Facebook. Something has happened. Hope someone's got a copy. So there was a rumour going around that it was being removed from Facebook. And I don't know how you can remove something from Facebook if you have got receipts. Everything that he said, he backed up with facts. He also stated that they were allegations. He also stated that he wasn't saying that Dutton was involved, but there were questions over the company he kept, which is why I think it was dealt with by law. You know, he had ran up past his law firm first because so it's just really bizarre. So now this has just been, and again, some of this stuff on Twitter I can't verify. We're just looking at it live as it's updating. So let me get this straight. Friendly Geordie is a young YouTube star, made his name doing videos on the MAFS. He's the only person brave enough to take on the corruption in the Liberal Party, specifically with Dutton, and now News Corp is investigating him. Far out. The media has become a mouthpiece for neoliberalism and the status quo. Without a strong media holding power to account, what we've seen happens. Massive corruption goes unpunished. We all suffer in the end, and society is poorer for it. Hello, Cal. How are you? So I'm really disappointed with mainstream media at the moment. I'm very disappointed that no one else has picked up the mantle and run with this because, as I said, there's lots and lots of questions to be asked. I noticed Liz Hurley is actually trending on Twitter as well. Well, Liz Hurley was engaged to Shane Warne for a while as well. Dutton will have woken in the quandary today. Oops. Very good. Thank you. Hey, check this out. This is how you get your readers and subscribers back, not some groveling PR-centered apology after the horse is bolted. Dutton will have woken up in the quandary today. Does he pursue Friendly Geordies, thereby drawing attention and risk bringing other stuff out in the open, or does he ignore it and risk having everything alleged stick to him, given his comparative pursuit of Shane Bazzi. He is in a little bit of a problem, doesn't he? My plan is to get a shack on some island somewhere, register a company, and hit up Peter Dutton for some vague security contract for $400 million a year. I think that's what I've learned. That's what I need to do, hey? That's what we need to do. Get some, you know. Wow, this could be very damning. I've read a lot about the LNP and their corruption, but seriously, this takes the cake. Number one, never did I expect this. Hello, Terry. Oh, no, we're actually just going through all the responses on Twitter because, unfortunately, Terry, mainstream media won't pick this story up. There's been nothing said. Anyone who has followed me for a long time will know that I've been questioning for years if immigration detention is a front for a huge money laundering operation. And of course, Serco. Of course, Dutton and his wants Serco and Co. So everyone's saying, David, so he's due on a program tomorrow called Insiders on the ABC. And people are hoping that he's going to get grilled on this expose tomorrow, but they doubt that he will. When Josh Rundberg announced he was cancelling his car park routes in Kooyong, the Herald Sun ran 3 pages attacking Monfa Kooyong because she called Peter Dutton MP a toxic potato head. But it's true. Following the Friendly Geordies investigation, Dutton Murdoch media are all set up to the plate and investigate Friendly Geordies. So Murdoch is actually, the mainstream media is actually investigating Friendly Geordies. The Friendly Geordies teams are becoming some of the best investigative journalists in the country. They get results, another LNP scalp. When you consider that the LNP are trying to put me, Kalari, in jail, it's very disturbing. I've just watched the whole Friendly Geordies piece on Dutton. Excellent stuff, but what concerns me most is the total lack of concern or interest from the Australian Federal Police. Are they incompetent, corrupt, or alluring combo of both? They are a national shame. Friendly Geordies does this great investigative work. Mainstream media won't touch it. Why is there a massive protection racket when it comes to Peter Dutton? Investigation by Friendly Geordies scalps Ryan Shaw, LNP's candidate for marginal Queensland regional seat of Lily. Refusal to comment from Dutton and AFP extremely concerning. If you've got nothing to hide, just say no. News, everyone in Dutton's electric Dixon, northwest of Brisbane, needs to see. Has the story about Peter Dutton that broke on Twitter today been picked up by mainstream media yet? If not, it should. It needs to be investigated urgently. It was awful viewing, and someone's tagged all the says go and spend 11 minutes watching latest Friendly Geordies video on Dutton and the AFP and ask the question why media find it so hard to break stories like this. I can't find anything on mainstream media and the car guy. Is it being ignored? Why aren't I surprised? After today's revelation about Peter Dutton, hasn't he resigned? For me, if this was any other person from any other party, there would be calls for resignations. And here's my other question. Why is the ALP not running with this? Why hasn't Albo and the team picked up these allegations and started hammering it in? Peter Dutton, Snorting coke through your taxes. Watch the game-changing investigation by Jordan Shanks that has put Australia's media to shame and engulfed the Liberal Party in crisis. What a dumb tweet, says Sonia. Yeah, look, I'm not betting that these are just what people are saying. I've this is incredible. No clue how he got the screenshots. There are very serious issues about Peter Dutton and the LNP raised by Friendly Geordies in his report. I'm astonished and angry that it's not the lead story. Again, may I reiterate that since Dutton has proven himself to be a fan of sweeping threats of defamation, his response will be fascinating. The MSM can rubbish Friendly Geordies all they like. He investigates and works while many of them offer about, we read that. Kevin Rudd's friend, Mr. Geordie, exposes Liberal Party Washageddon, the sequel. I watched FJ's video on Dutton. He's exposed the cesspool we know nothing about. Overwhelming number of new players. I have an increasing sense of helplessness in the face of so much corruption. How are we ever going to be free of it? Kick Dutton out for starters. So do you think Dutton will front up at insiders? Cabinet Minister and former policeman Peter Dutton is concerned by the findings of a major report into drug use and abuse. And he's put that there. Poor Dutton, he'd love to sue Friendly Geordies for defamation, but he saw what happened to the last psychopath who thought that was a good idea. And remember, that person has decided to sue Google instead. The MSN needs to be bombed with the fact that 250,000 people have viewed this, and that's what we picked up. 250,000 people have viewed this. I have been telling everybody to watch it. I don't know how many. I've lost count at the number of people I've sent this to, and I've said, you've got to watch it. You've got to watch it. How many people have you told to do it? So anyway, I decided to do a search on Peter Dutton this morning on the newspapers. So I've just put Peter Dutton, look, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 5 days ago. There's nothing. There's nothing. Peter Dutton more likely to fund community grants in coalition seats, the audit finds. So the audit is saying, there's an audit that says that he's likely to be wanting to fund stuff. So there's nothing there. Nobody has actually one phone call that could stop Putin. There's nothing here about it. And why? Why isn't this? Why aren't we talking? Why isn't this being spoken about? Why has this been swept under the carpet? So then I've just put in Peter Dutton corruption in Google. 2019. Another day, another disgrace. February 2021. Nothing there. So if you go to news, weeks, a month. So, there's nothing there. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. I do have my language thing in there. Yeah, we are all with Russia. Yeah, well, that's right. We're gonna. Well, I can see it being used for political gain, unfortunately. So it's really, yeah. I mean, every time, like it's. I just found the timing of ScoMo getting COVID very convenient as well. There was some heat coming onto ScoMo, and suddenly he got COVID and had to isolate. I'm sorry, I've just become very cynical. I just become cynical of things now. Every time someone does something, I go, is there motive behind that? So you swear? I don't actually swear, Cal. I don't swear at all. So yeah, I don't swear. So hello, Jenna. The ABC should investigate. Really, I do swear. Okay. The ABC investigate the Friendly Geordies report on Dutton's. The ABC should investigate the Friendly Geordies report on Dutton's association with a certain car company and PNG. I don't. Cal, I don't think I do. So yeah, it's just very interesting. Oh, it's okay. It's okay, Bella. It's all right. He's just angry at the moment with everything that's going on. I understand, but I do. Yeah, I don't. I don't swear. I really. I'd be very surprised because the reason why I don't have swearing is because Harrison is a minor, and when he comes on and he watches my videos, so I don't have swearing in it. Oh, so Slow Mo has Omicron. I'm dating a man from Brisbane. He moved here. Yes, he had. Well, I believe he's got Omicron. The thing is, Jenna, he had some symptoms and he had a rat test that was negative, and he went and he hugged everybody. But anyway, at the end of the day, that's I just don't have. I just have all the swear words banned. That's all. I just try and keep, because my nephew, who is 10, watches my streams, and those that I don't want him to watch, I make 18 plus. Okay, that's fine. Jenna Sweet Tea, he was one of the first people vaccinated. Triple vaccinated too. So I yeah, Remember, yeah. So I think he's nearly finished his isolation. Look, at the end of the day, Jenna, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If that's what Cal wants to think, I'm not going to convince him. That's fine. All right. Anyway, so let's so what else is going on for everybody? I really just wanted to look at the fallout from the video. But as I said, there's been nothing from the mainstream media. Nothing at all from the mainstream media. So Jenna, we were talking about the Friendly Geordies video from yesterday, which exposed corruption with a corruption and senior politicians' links to possible drugs and all pile of stuff. And very, 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 very interesting. And then here's another one. Oh, well, I work around mainly with children at the moment too. So no, I didn't. Friendly Geordies will get more views than Insiders with Dutton on Sundays. So that's what somebody else has said. No, I haven't really caught up with the. I haven't really caught up with Ukraine after dealing with the news about the passing of Shane Warne. And then the Great Southern Stand of the MCG is going to be renamed. It's going to be called the so it won't be called the Great Southern Stand anymore. It's going to be called the SK Warne Stand. I'm still getting over the shock, the fact that Shane Warne's no longer with us. So as I said, I thought, my boyfriend, he did say some pretty. I think it's funny how they have alcohol drinks in sessions. Yes, Jenna, so yes. Particularly at the moment, things are pretty. That's okay, Carol. You're allowed to be who you are. But I'm just saying I do have some stuff on my channel for certain reasons. And then YouTube intervenes as well sometimes. So because I don't apologize for who I am either. But as I said, I had right at the start of the channel, when I started the channel and my nephew started to get involved, I needed to put some safety nets in place around him. So that's one of the reasons. And lots of creators have words that aren't acceptable or will get you kicked or banned. For me, they just happen to be swear words. There's a trigger warning. There's a trigger warning, but no drama alert. I can't believe it. Doesn't seem real. I know, plan to create. I actually had to check the day. I thought maybe it was an April Fool's joke because I just went, this cannot be right. Surely not. But yeah, Shane Warne. Wow. He is a cricketing legend. Is Australian. You know, Don Bradman is up there. Then you've got Shane Warne. Shane Warne and Don Bradman are up there. And I just saw pictures in of, I think it was South Africa and Sri Lanka are actually doing a minute silence for him and Rod Marsh, who also passed away. Oh, sorry, India and Sri Lanka. India, Sri Lanka. Sorry, I take that back. So this is everybody's sort of reeling at the moment. With it. He signed my bag at Melbourne. Wow. And I have to say, who is going to defend the Victorians now in the commentary box? Because we had Bill Laurie, and then so there is a statue at the MCG of Shane Warne. Had a backlist. There's a statue at the MCG of, you know, it's got the Walk of Fame. I think I did a video Boxing Day and I showed you some of the people on the Walk of Fame, and for where his statue is, people have been laying flowers, and in fact apparently there's cigarettes being laid there and a few cans of beer, because he was very unapologetic. He liked his cigarettes and he liked his beer. So people have you know, laid tribute to his. But we think of his family, his children. I'm going, this storm has cut off my signal. Okay, Bruce. Oh, here we go. This is a picture of the MD. So as I said, the Great Southern Stand is going to be called the SK Warne Stand now, which I think is a fitting tribute. So that's his statue there. And so people are actually going there to pay their respects, because what else do you do? So they've got his greatest moments here. So he got 7 for 52 versus West Indies. And then there's the gadding ball. Who can forget that? The hat trick at the MCG, the 1999 World Cup semi-final, 2005 Ashes, the Adelaide 2006-2007 Test Series, and the 700th wicket at the MCG. Well, look, Mick Jagger has said, I'm saddened by the sudden death of Shane Warne. He's brought such joy to the game as greatest bowler ever. Not many cricketers do this to the new UK newspaper where they cover the page. And I think a lot of people are struggling to realise that what the news were, because I think we all just went, it can't be true. Not be true. And he was actually talking about putting his hat in the ring to coach England, which would have been very devastating, because England might have actually gotten better. But, you know, and anyway, cricket right around the world are struggling. So the news was, so here's the official news here. I know I've gone on to a segue. I won't be on for much longer. It was just wanted to but so he was on holidays on a great dreary Saturday in Melbourne, not dissimilar to the one where Warne claimed his 700th Test wicket in front of adoring fans in the Southern Stand at the MCG on Boxing Day 2006. Melburnians gathered around his statue outside members at the MCG to lay flowers, cricket balls, pies, beers, cigarettes as a tribute to Warne. In Victoria, it is a big story. I mean, Shane Warne, is a legend in Victoria. Sports Minister for Tourism and Sport, Martin Paluka, confirmed that he'd consulted with Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews, MCC Trust Chairman Steve Bracks, and MCC CEO Stuart Fox, and they had resolved to honour Warne by renaming the Southern Stand in his honour. So we will be renaming the Great Stand as the SK Warne Stand, and we'll be doing that as soon as we can. I can think of no finer tribute to the greatest cricketer this state has produced than to rename the stand the SK Warne Stand, and no matter whatever happens to the stand in the future, whether it's rebuilt, refurbished, renovated, it will remain the SK Warne Stand in perpetuity, because of his legend will live in perpetually. You've got to remember, Cricket Victoria is also looking at ways it can honour Warne, as there was already plans to potentially rename a stand at the Junction Oval in his name prior to his passing. The Premier and the Prime Minister have contacted the Warne family to offer a state funeral, but the family has said they want some time to work out what they want to do. Cricket Australia Chairman had confirmed he'd spoken to the Prime Minister on Saturday regarding Warne and believed renaming the Southern Stand would be a fitting tribute. So he was an icon of the game, obviously with St Kilda Cricket Club. That's where he played. He was also St Kilda AFL Club. That was his love. He played cricket all around the world. Right here this morning, driving past the junior cricket ground in Victoria, I saw a young leg spin bowler and a beautifully flighted ball that beat the bat, and I'm sure someone was looking down on that young bowler as he embarks on his career. The Australian women's team wore 2 armbands in memory of Shane Warne and Rod Marsh, who passed away on Friday, and observed a minute's silence ahead of their Women's World Cup opener against England and New Zealand. England also wore black armbands in tribute to both men. Henderson confirmed the Australian men's team who wore black armband and observed a minute's silence ahead of the first test with Pakistan in memory of Marsh would do the same for memory of Warne on Saturday. Well, Ian Healy came out and said, look, he lived a lifestyle that was not a cricket lifestyle. As such, he liked his pies and he liked his beer and he liked his cigarettes. So, I was going to say, can the federal government offer a state funeral? Because the state is the state funeral anyway. So there's the media in Victoria, just everywhere you go. Remember, I live in Victoria. I live in the Shane Warne state, and everybody is just walking around downcast today. So coming up on main event, Friendly Geordies versus the not so friendly Peter Dutton should be a rip smaller. The media has buried this. It is outrageous that a comedian has to do investigative journalism. All these hagiographies posing as journalists and puff up incompetent crooks. So anyway. Yeah, so Jenna, it was, as I said, it was one of those moments where you saw it. I saw the headline and I went, no, that's just horrible. Monday was way better than Warne, yet the news concentrate because he was. We know that controversy breeds success. Look at YouTube. The more controversial you are, the more views you get. So, yeah, the federal and the state. Apparently, ScoMo also offered a state funeral, and the Andrews government offered a state funerals. So Magnus Gavansky, who played Sharon Leslecki in Kath and Kim, made famous by that. Remember, if you followed Kath and Kim, remember that she got to marry Sharon Leslecki wanted to marry Shane Warne, and but anyway, the character. This is what she wrote. She wrote this beautiful treatment. Wake up in the middle of the night to the terrible news that Shane Warne had died. Utter shock. Inconceivable that life crammed with so much genius and a larrikin charm. And that's why we liked him, because he was a larrikin. Because he was a larrikin. We love larrikins. Larrikin charm could be snuffed out so suddenly and so soon. When we filmed these immortal scenes, Warne proved that he was not just a great sportsman, but also a great sport. He played along with our shenanigans, and we had loads of fun. He was a great pasher. In between takes, we chatted, and I totally fell under the spell of the famed Warne charm. He was thoughtful and very sweet. He was born not far from where I lived, and so much of him was typical Melbourne outer suburban boy, except, of course, he was blessed by the gods of cricket. My God, he was blessed, but also dedicated and hardworking. He taught me, or rather Sharon, how to do the flipper, and recounted how he would practice that spin hundreds of times a day until he could propel a cricket ball 1 meter straight up into the air by clicking his fingers. His fingers were like small tree trunks, but mostly I remember how he spoke with a great love and pride of his beautiful kids. This is a shocking loss for our nation and the cricketing world, and poor Sharon has lost her hero and the love of her life. But right now my heart is with his family and his friends, and most especially with his beautiful children, Jackson, Summer and Brooke, whom he loved very much. R.I.P. Warnie, sending love to you and Rod Marsh up there in cricket heaven, Mags. Isn't that beautiful? That is a beautiful my granddad's oven was bought at auction now in Don Bradman. Oh, cool. That's pretty cool, Cal, that he's now in Don Bradman's house. So that was a lovely tribute from Magna Sabansky, or Sharon Sklazecki, for to Shane Warne. So well, at the end of the day, I don't get a say as to who gets to have a state funeral and who doesn't. It's not, they're and I wouldn't be surprised. For me, there would be an outcry if he didn't get a state funeral, because he was, he would still go down to the local club cricket and go watch club cricket, and then wherever he went and there was cricket involved, he was always teaching and coaching. So he was very much about empowering younger kids and teaching younger people how to play. So anyway, I'm going to head off now. I've still got a lot of work to do. I started a bit late today, because I woke up with a headache and I went back to sleep, and then it was 11 o'clock. I wasn't feeling well. So he was quite famous from your country, and he loved it. Sounds like I don't know what to think about that sort of. Yeah. Oh, look, he quick. He embraced it. I embraced it. I guess for me, there's another person that I like. Him, and he was a larrikin, or he liked to be a bit of a joker and have fun. But as I said, he would cause controversy because they'd go into India or Pakistan, and he wouldn't eat the food. He'd take baked beans or spaghetti or meat pies. He would, and that was what he would eat. They couldn't get him on any special diet. They couldn't get him to do anything more than what he had to do. He'd the bare minimum of fitness, and yet he was one of the greatest. Yep. All right. See you, Cal. That's all right. As I said, you're entitled to your opinion. That's fine. I'm just saying that my point of view is I'm from the state, you know, I live in the state that he's from, that where he's come from, and he's looked up, but you know, he's idolized and adored, and so it's not my decision as to who deserves a state funeral and who doesn't. So, but there would be an out if he didn't get one, if they didn't offer it to him, there would be an outcry. And cricket and Melbourne is a sporting loving. We just love our sport, and you know, yeah. Anyway, actually, I wanted just to see what this was. There's something here about Liz Hurley. Yeah, people are tagging Liz Hurley on the Shane Warne post, which I don't think is very fair. It was great when we were a little less PC and when he embodied that spirit. He did embody that spirit, yeah. He did. And that's what we liked about him, because he didn't play by the, like, he didn't follow the rules. And because he was so good, he got away with it. You know, they would overlook the fact he wouldn't do certain things because he was, you know, again, rightly or wrongly, whether it's right or wrong, or not, like, it's just, we just, yeah. Anyway, all right, I'm going to catch you all later. Never changed. Sounds like he was quite legend. Yes, Jenna, he was. I'm sure that there's going to be lots of videos, lots of tributes, lots of stories come out about what he was like. Yes, he did, Cal. Richie Beno did get a state funeral. In fact, I think it was offered, but I don't think that she took it. They only offer the state funerals. If I remember rightly, she wanted it to be, yeah, the family of Richie Beno declined a state funeral. So they tell the family, if you'd like to take up the offer of a state funeral, you may have it. Bert Newton had a state funeral as well. But as I said, Richie Beno's family declined the state funeral because they felt that that wasn't what he would want. For me, I think a state funeral and a party is what Warne would want. But you know, but as I said, it's in the family's hands. The family can decide, yes, we want it, no, we don't. But as I said, Richie Beno was offered it. He didn't take it. Bert Newton got a state funeral. So, you know, they do it for a lot of celebrities, or, you know, people that are famous. When I eventually go, there'll be a great big party, because there'll be a big party, and they'll be going, ding dong, the witch is dead, the wicked witch, ding dong. That's what they'll be doing. Oh dear. But anyway, hopefully not for a long time. However, him going for him passing, the thing I think for me, state funerals, it means that the government's paying for them, and they're usually held in a big venue, and it just means the taxpayer, it just means the government pays for the funeral, or I'm paying for the funeral, you know. And it's usually on television, you know, it's televised and everything, and it's, you know, it's just fancy. But yeah, that's all it really means. But usually celebrities get them. Oh, and of course, the biggest news, more big news in Australia, is that Neighbours is ending after 37 years. What are people going to do without watching, without having neighbours to watch? I haven't watched it for years. But there have been people that have been in neighbours for 37 years. So, yeah, I hate that show. The thing is, it was great for the economy of Victoria, I have to tell you. And I'd been on the on this, been on the set, and I've been on, where they film it all. It's a huge facility. They went too woke, said Sonia. Well, they all do. I watch my neighbours all the time, says Cal. Well, we're gonna have, that we used to call that neighbourhood watch. It used to be called neighbourhood watch. Anyway, I'm heading off now, but thank you for joining me. It's been an hour. And I will catch you again next time. Bye for now.